So our map is going to be Frozen Wastes. And we've got a Zeus mirror with the red player spawning in the bottom side being Revage. And in the north, we've got Procopy in the blue. Both players are throwing down their houses. Some very early walling here, actually, a bit unusual from Ravage. These villagers are staying for a very long time here. Could be probably a very, very quick armory. But no, he's building forward, actually. It was just a bit inefficient. Anyway, it's a Hermes pick for both of the players. And the town centers on this map are both very, very forward, which is going to make for an extremely, extremely brutal early game with a lot of hoplite raids. Both players will probably have a really, really tough time getting up to a free TC state. So both of the heroes have been made here, and a much faster heroic timing from Procopy here, going through Apollo, of course. Although on this patch, maybe it's not a given, considering the buff to Dionysus. Now the relics are Harmonious Necklace, so some extra gold. There's the other one, System of Bast, cheaper villagers. This is not something that you want to abandon your villagers for with your heroes, okay? So these are probably relics that will be picked up at some point when things calm down a bit, but not right now. Too risky, especially considering that we've got Hermes picks. So Hera is the choice of minor god for Procopy, which is again unusual because it's been combined with Hermes, although this map has not been in the deathmatch pool, so what do I know about what's unconventional and what's not? Some harassment going on, but Jason is kinda, taking care of this stuff. Now, the two heroes going forward could potentially get a bunch of villager kills, which would slow down Ravage here. They got cornered by the hoplites. That's a full surround, guys. So, goodbye, Jason and Ollie. That's it for you guys. These hoplites are gonna try to go for that prevention on that TC, and if they're not stopped, they're actually gonna get it. Hoplite bonus damage, even at the Heroic Age upgrades only, is pretty good. And as he hits, Mythic Age has been researched through Hephaestus, and this settlement got a full reset. Very nice little raid there. How volatile isn't that? So Jason here could be picked off by those two hoplites, which would leave this Manticore attacking all these red hoplites here. No archery ranges as far as I can tell so far, although Heliopoli production and no Colossi on the way currently. And no favor gathering villagers is a pretty big gap in the play of Ravage, I would say. Now, two hoplite raids, they are gonna trade this away. Although these towers here are incredibly smart, even though the hoplites will probably get a denial on this TC, a lot of them will die in the process. Bolt is being used on that Bellerophon, pretty standard stuff. That's how you'd normally use your first bolt. And yeah, these hoplites are getting another oi. What is going on? So yeah, it looks like Ravage hasn't gone the risky way here to take out this TC fully, and instead has just opted to use Ceasefire, power up on this TC, and hopefully finish it, although there's only 8 villagers, and with houses not being finished, I don't know, man. This TC might not fully go up, especially with him pulling villagers. Now, the only way he could be getting this up, I think, is if all the villagers actually build. It's gonna be very close. On the other side, however, there's only 3 villagers on here. Absolutely not gonna get it. The hoplites just need to be right-clicked on this settlement, and that's denied yet once more. Now, it's gonna be very close here. 7, 6, 5, 4... no, this is not gonna go up, surely. If the hoplites are just right-clicked on the TC. There you go. That's gonna be a full denial of that TC. On both sides, we're almost 5 minutes in. Villagers to garrison here, by the way, and it looks like we're just gonna have a 1 TC war. I don't know how the dynamic of that is gonna work out. We don't normally see this kind of game. Some very nice rates on those houses. These hoplites need to be constantly babysitted though, because you can't shift click on buildings. This wall could potentially go down, and then that would expose these villagers and that TC. More are being made here, and the villagers getting picked off, but these towers are pretty much full of other villagers. Both player, not only Procopy actually has the scout on the base of Ravage, so he could always use the underwater passage. Oh, the Colossus though. Gonna punch through that wall for sure, and these villagers are now in trouble. Have to garrison and get the hell out of here. Although a bolt is being used on the Colossus, which is pretty smart, of course. But at the same time, the SimCity is falling to a massive infantry, and now they could die over time, but what they really want to do here is deny that TC again. Now, Ravage has a significant number of villagers try to retake his TC. It's going up pretty quickly as well. If something isn't done about that immediately with an underworld, then this is going up. So that means that Ravage will be having a population advantage. He'll be able to establish his economy much sooner. Not gonna look so good for Procopy, who is playing Hera, who is obviously needing to put on more damage, and the score is already starting to show a little bit, although as Ravage is losing units, that's equalizing itself out. Oh, Tussle, thanks for the bits. Noise cheer, yo. I've turned off all the notifications when I started streaming. Very, very nice lightning storm, but it's mostly hoplites. The hoplites are pretty good against it, actually, and the Heliopoli has tanked a lot of this damage. Now, lightning storm is actually pierce damage, so all these hoplites are actually quite survivable against it. And underworld passage is going down. I don't see where yet. Here it is. That's a pretty good one. The towers are gonna fall very quickly to these siege towers, and there's no archers to quickly get rid of the underworld passage either. So that's gonna mean that that's gonna stay up for a while here. Okay, it looks like the hoplites are opting to go directly for it, and there's no counter infantry and no repairing villagers, which does mean that this underworld passage is gonna fall. But what about the town center? Now the blue infantry is not focusing the town center, so okay, it is now. They are now. Spoke too soon. Jinxed it, and the TC is fallen. Now there's a counter underworld as well going on at the same time, taking out what little production buildings there are for the blue player, and obviously denying the TC as there's no villagers there anymore. And this looks like it's going to be cleaned up very soon, and that has to mean that Ravage is so far ahead that this might be an irrecoverable disadvantage now for Procopy. Who is, by the way, sending villagers this way. I've seen them somewhere. Where are they? Oh, they went through the underworld, I see. So they're gonna build towers here to further secure this area around the underworld, which is obviously very smart. Now these guys need to move on as well. And that should sort of seal the game. Oh, going after the temple. Without temples, there's no Medusas. Without Medusas, you're not countering Colossi. Uh-oh. Yeah, the houses are falling, which is gonna reduce the population here. There's barely any production buildings left, although they are being remade as we speak, but they're not doing anything for now. This TC is being recaptured, which is going to give Ravage an obviously huge advantage, and now those army units have also arrived here at the Underworld. All that's left to be done, take out this main base. Colossus is nicely eating up that gold mine of Procopy. Healing itself up in the process, and there's all the infantry going now. Some attempted siege on this wall should be a little bit scary, but not too significantly. Like, Ravage can afford to lose this. Chat is asking why there was no ceasefire. This is a good question. That Bellerophon is dead, he can't save this anymore, and all the hoplites are pretty much just surrounding that TC. Or not, they're protecting the Gallipoli, and oh, this siege attack has actually worked out a little bit here. Will it be enough to bring Procopy back? He has a superior score, but if we were to check the resources... how do we do that again? Not like that. Is it like that? No. Food? No. I forgot how to check the resources. Either way, we've got very few civilians for Procopy. We've got... Oh! Interesting. We got really no food for Ravage left. Food is okay for both players, and gold is a bit better for Procopy. That few villagers will unfortunately not get that TC. You need at least 11. And that repair is unfortunately not going to be enough for this TC either. There's no way that if these units right click here, then this TC is just done. Some defensive hoplites are coming up. And the trade is unfortunately getting stuck here in between the hunt and the buildings. So that could be a bit problematic if that carries on happening. But these hoplites are now really starting to siege this down, and that should be it for this TC. But this one is actually being ignored by Ravage, so it should go up. Unless the hoplites immediately attack it, it will go up. The villagers are attacking it, but Procopy taps out as he loses his DC. GG is called. Yeah, good game. We've seen a lot more kills from Procopy, but not nearly enough to make up for the disadvantage caused by the TC timings, basically. Right, I think we're gonna put back all the notifications because we actually missed something. I'm gonna leave off the cam for now. Chat box is also okay, I think. And we should be getting started with the next game anytime. So yeah, thanks Tussle again. We can repeat that. There you go. We flashed it this time. Now if you excuse me for a second, I need to blow my nose. Current score is 1-0. We've started a new series here. Ah, Arenas Pro. You funny guy. In this short break, I'll be looking up how to actually get the resource options to display. Unfortunately, we have not yet found how to do it. If anyone in chat knows, please feel free to type that in. All right, let's go. I think you have to type in like the player number. Our next map is Tundra, and we're sticking to the Zeus War. In the left corner, we've got Procopy, the blue Zeus. And in the right corner, we've got Ravage, the red Zeus. Ah. I see, that's how you do it. Much more efficient with the villager movement this time. Immediately going for the TC. Holy crap, what's going on? A lot of military academies going down, of course, for Ravage as a standard. And 2 centaurs are moving out. Right, so the villagers are no longer building the TC. Instead, they are walling off with the military academies, which is the standard play. Now, houses haven't been made, only one. This villager wasn't on queue. That could really, really, really hurt Procopy, as all these buildings will start producing. And these are just coming up. And even once they do, there's too few houses. Now the centaur is coming in and is going to be able to possibly pick off a villager. Oh, it's being bolted. Oh, wow. Definitely not how you want to use your bolt, if you can help it. Now this Odysseus is coming in here trying to find some damage, but is walking straight past the villagers, which are all walling right now, interestingly enough. So actually very little pressure is happening. These hoplites are moving in. Both players are picking Hephaestus behind all this. The relics on the map are the Ankh of Ra and the Dwarven Calipiers. Now, this is very good. You definitely want to pick up that relic. A bunch of centaurs are trying to go after the villagers here. There are no heroes to protect them. They're completely out of the way. And if Procopy just sees this, he could easily kill 4 villagers. And the hoplites are breaking through here and are completely able to attack the exposed villagers, but they're not. So how many villagers have fallen so far? I don't think any have. Looks like the centaurs have been attacking the heroes here. Okay, they're picking off 1 villager there now. That's nice. But both of the heroes are right on top of them, and they're attacking Jason, which is doing no damage whatsoever. Now this TC is definitely being denied, but there is a sufficient number of blue units now with Hyperspace joining the fray in the composition, which should definitely mean that all these red hoplites streaming across the map are going to die without any archers. In fact, I'm really worried for Ravage now. If a counter push happens, these units they don't have a counter right now because there's no archery ranges. Colossi are nice, but so many of them. Colossi won't be able to kill them fast enough. Ravage is going after the houses, I would guess. Towers being thrown down at the empty settlement right now. Belorphin is joining the fight, and interestingly enough, we're seeing some Petroboli. So yeah, the houses are being attacked here. Probably 2 of them will go down, but most likely it will be just 1. Yeah, it will be just 1. With the other one badly bruised, but not dead. This TC will be going up now. There's no doubt about that. Underworld is not coming soon enough, and these hoplites should not be able to... they might fit through here. The Petrovoli. Alright, this TC has been checked. There's nothing here. Nothing to see here. Move on. And this smaller group of units here is coming over here to try and do some trading. But at the same time, the hoplite army is moving out for a ravage, probably going after this settlement to get yet another denial. Still no praying villagers from either player, really, which is gonna stop Colossus production entirely. It's gonna be 3 Colossus and that's it. There's enough hoplites and enough reinforcement and Belorphin here, which is actually beating this army back. Procopy's army is in many pieces right now, which makes him unable to really put a dent in Ravage's map control. Another small set of hoplites is going in. They're gonna go after that house, and a bunch of the Colossi are being used here, as well as the Petroboli and a bunch of hoplites. Whoa. Going after that TC now. This should almost certainly fall, as there are no heroes out to speak of. Currently, Procopy is actually at the population cap, and losing houses just means that he's not gonna be able to get these heroes out. Belorphin pops out just in the nick of time, and ceasefire is being used. It will probably allow him to get this TC or try to repair the other. If all the villagers move on to this, then maybe it will go up. At the same time, it's giving leeway to Ravage to try to get that TC. Although he's not really focusing on it, a lot of his villagers are just gathering from the eco. Unfortunately, there's no storehouse here. Plenty being thrown down, but isn't being captured by these Colossi. Apparently there's not enough. There are a lot of blue units around, so I guess that's fair enough. Now, this TC has been discovered, and that should be it. This TC is not gonna go up whatsoever, hence why the villagers are leaving to save their lives, and they're gonna try to repair this. Now, it's all up to the Colossi and the Hoplites and the Petroboli to focus down this TC, and if they can, that should end the game right here. Now the Colossus here didn't try to stop this TC, and all these villagers from the woodline, I guess, yeah, are coming over here now to get the TC up. Which they successfully will, unless there's a raid. Doesn't seem like there is one, but these Colossi and the Underworld are being repelled, actually. And that should put a stop to this pressure, although these Toxotes haven't been shooting at the right target. The Underworld is very, very vulnerable to archer fire, because it only has 80% pierce armor, whereas most buildings have 95. So it means that the burning pitch upgrade allows them to deal a lot of bonus damage. Silly villager. You can't take on a town center, what are you doing? Fortress being made forward. This is gonna be a push for the win, I think, from Ravage. Now, if you look at his resources, we'll see that he is still doing really well. Both players are, actually, resource-wise, but being this far ahead in the map control department means a lot. Now, all these towers have been cleared out, and Procopy is forced to turtle up in his main base. Now, no one's repairing here. Barely anyone is gathering any resources. So, in the long run, I have to give the advantage to Ravage. That TC has just finished, which puts his population cap at 160. He will be able to outnumber people now. And thank you for Kawa for the follow. Yep, and if we have to keep in mind this is the best of 3, so if Ravage wins, then that will mean that this series is already over. Procopy cannot lose this game as well as the previous one. Oh, the Halepli is baiting all these villagers to attack, and they're just following. The villagers being barely faster. Having to stand still for this attack animation just means that they're gonna follow for a very long time before the tower dies. These archers are moving into the reinforcement line straight up. So it's possible that they'll pick up all these reinforcements, but this main army body is just so big right now that I highly doubt that even that would allow Procopy to beat it straight up. He needs that for TC, and he needs to have it 5 minutes ago, really. All these idle villagers and idle units are certainly not helping his cause. And the fact that he's so boxed in by all this walling is just a huge detriment to his ability to fight for the map. Trade is being established very slowly by Ravage. At least it's up. He just needs to get rid of this path here, which he just did. Very nice. So now if these guys are rerouted to here, that will mean that his gold income is going to explode. Yeah, it really looks like Procopy's army is absolutely getting destroyed here. You could say he's getting ravaged. Thank you for cause follow. Belorphin is standing there idly. It's possible that he'll try to use the underworld passage, but where? Yeah, he's definitely trying to do that. But he needs to do it soon because this Belorphin is gonna die. Okay, he just did. Yeah, that's a lot of siege. Immediate ceasefire, allowing him to regroup. But it's also giving Procopy a bit of a safe space to survive in. This 1 minute is nothing to laugh at. Now the underworld is being walled in, however, as we speak. This entire red army is coming home to defend, and it's pretty full of archers actually, so I'm not sure if it's the best option right now. Maybe a counterattack would be better. Water Bottle, thank you for your follow. Although I suppose Ravage is ahead, so defending is fine, but yeah, he is losing a lot of momentum with this. Not much happening during this ceasefire. Ravage was trying to build a fortress but can't, and now actually pulled himself in. These villagers are gonna die because of that. The TC is being focused by all this siege and is almost certainly gonna go down. Archers are focusing siege weapons, which is merely tickling them. Instead, they could be taking out this underworld passage, but that's not what they're doing. Now, of course, the Helopoli will be falling, but at what cost? He traded 4 of them for a TC, so I suppose it's not too bad. My name is Thor, thank you for your follow. Hoplites are actually focusing down this underworld. Colossus is coming through. He isn't able to get to the TC though, and a good surround could stop him entirely. But all the melee army is being moved now. The Belorphin is microed on him finally, but he'll take a house with him, I think. More raid is happening here, but these units trying to go past have to go around all these walls, which is really bad for the pathing. They're also going through a lot of tower fire, so yeah, Ravage is really playing tower defense here. Yeah, the one house did die, but the settlement is untouched. It's gonna finish up. Ravage is back where he was a moment ago. And he has thrown down a storehouse, so that's good. He also improved his farm spread a little bit, although it's still not very neatly placed. The trade, however, is at a good length. We'll soon see how much these guys are actually gathering. And by guys, I mean caravans. Now, there is a small rage, which could be taking out all of these markets. 75 gold, that's not so bad for a small map like this. Yeah, this small raiding party is going after this fortress. Should be easily taking it out with the Colossus now being here. That was a very ambitious placement. And now the red army is finally saying, I've had enough, I'm going, you're dying. All these guys are just outside to the towers, oh man. Belorphin not specifically great against buildings, guys, just saying. Will these guys suicide into the TC, I wonder? They could take it down pretty low, and with the extra patrol life, once they've chewed through all these buildings, that should be a significant threat there. Where's the army population for a red player? It's low, interestingly enough. He's not producing any hoplites, that's why. All his archers are on auto queue, but he's not producing hoplites, which is drastically reducing his population because he doesn't have a lot of praying villagers, and by not a lot I mean none. Chat is asking why I'm not playing. I just felt like casting a few games. I'll play later. That TC is now gone, which is probably gonna snowball this game into Ravage's hands. But like I said, he has no infantry, so dealing with siege is gonna be not too easy. But Procopy needs to make something happen, and ASAP. I don't think he has a lot of resources. He has no food and thus no ability to make infantry. He also has no food income to speak of. So yeah, beyond obviously having the plenty vault, I don't see how he can come back here. Once this army dies, I think that's it. There's really nothing more else going for him. He can make Colossi, sure, but that's it. The wall. Oh man, these archers are not doing anything. Look at this. Not moving its HP bar at all. There's a hoplite, which will help. Colossi are slowly finishing off everything here. Going after the fortresses now, and Procopy taps out. GG is called. Ravage was just ahead in everything eco except favor. He had way more civilians. He had a little less units killed, but he had to suicide a lot of units into buildings, and at the start he went up with hoplites against hyperspis, so that obviously doesn't go so well. Much faster TC timings, of course, obviously are gonna snowball the game. So yeah, that's 2-0 for Procopy. Well played.